So the Delta Force devs just released the patch notes for an update in quotation marks that will be releasing tomorrow, and I use the word update here very loosely because all the updates we've had since the launch of this season have been so incredibly underwhelming. They're mostly just events in order to put more skins in the game and get more money out of the player base. They do have those like event game modes. I don't really think anybody cares about that, but if you do, definitely let me know in the comments down below telling me that I'm wrong. Overall, there've just been like very minor balance adjustments and no overall like quality of life improvements, no new content, albeit if they're doing it on a season per season basis, I doubt we'll see any new content until the start of the next season, which technically should be around April 17-ish, but like it really feels like the devs are just dropping the ball. Complete radio silence on their end. We don't know what they're working on. There are so many issues with the game, balancing issues, quality of life issues, just a lot of things that can make Delta Force feel like a frustrating experience a lot of the time. Like today's update, they released a few weapon balance adjustments and they gave Zero Dam and Layali Grove easy operations new equipment restrictions, but other than that, that's pretty much it. Very, very basic balancing changes for weapons that honestly doesn't feel like that's the biggest issue or one of the biggest issues in the game right now, with map balance being all over the place, the maps generally not feeling great. There's a lot of adjustments that need to be made. Even stuff like there isn't an actual feature in the game that checks, or a system that checks what the last map you played was. And oftentimes you'll just get the same map over and over during a gaming session in Delta Force, and it just gets kind of boring. There aren't that many maps to begin with, and then when you're constantly put in the same map, you need to leave and then re-queue again in the hopes of not getting the exact same map again, or even being put into a match that's already in progress, potential on the losing team, which also feels very bad and seems to happen very often. HUD and UI customization, now I realize those are things that take a little bit longer to actually change, but like the heads-up display in the game just feels very cluttered and messy, and they haven't been saying anything about all this. Now, granted, I know they're working on the mobile version, which is slated for launch on April 21st, and then obviously, hopefully the console version as well, but we haven't gotten any news about this. But it'd be nice for them to just open up, maybe make another dev stream to showcase what they're working on in terms of improvements for the game, rather than complete radio silence that we're getting now. They were doing great before when the game actually launched. Up until the launch of the first season, or Starfall, they were doing like dev streams showing people what they're working on, answering questions in open Q&As that anybody can go ask a question to the lead dev, Shadow. Now granted, I think they did like one of those recently, but it's been very hush-hush since the launch of the season. And it just feels like all this potential is being wasted because of these things that need to be addressed in honestly a timely fashion. Because look at your friends list at any given time. Most people that I've played with when the game actually launched have completely either uninstalled the game or are just not playing it anymore, and I've had community members say as much, that they have completely stopped playing and uninstalled the game altogether because there's just nothing happening right now, and there's a lot of frustrating issues that the game still have, you know, 4-ish months after the actual launch of the title, albeit it is technically open beta. But let's be honest, you wouldn't be making seasons if the game wasn't a full release, so let's just call it how it is. Delta Force is in 1.0. Even popular content creators on YouTube and Twitch have moved on to other titles. Like if you look at Enders, I'm sure most of you know who he is, hasn't made a Delta Force video in like 6-7 days, and it was a very small video talking about an update that was buffing Luna, which is a head scratcher to say the least, albeit the buff I believe was only in operations. But still, moving on to other games, because there's just too many frustrating issues in Delta Force right now, and they're not releasing any new content except these very basic events with limited time game modes, but it's nothing actually substantial that you can sink your teeth into, and I can completely understand why those content creators would move on to other titles. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm still having fun with Delta Force, but I can see the cracks in the game a lot better than when the game launched and you have like those rose-tinted glasses, for lack of a better expression, on, and you're having a ton of fun. You have all this progression to do, you have all these new weapons to try, but once you start sinking in 100, 200, 300 hours into the title, you really start to see where the game fails in all of these different aspects: balancing, content, map design, and just lack of features that a combined arms mode like Delta Force should have when it actually comes out. It just feels like wasted potential. They have the market right now because there's no new Battlefield coming out. Battlefield 2042's, their support for that has basically stopped. I know they released a new event like I think yesterday or a few days ago, but Delta Force has the potential to really capture a section of the market for combined arms game modes that are more casual while people wait for that new Battlefield title. Then hell, they might not even go to it because there's a very clear cost to entry for a game like Battlefield as opposed to Delta Force that is completely free to play, but you do have to keep those players around by addressing the issues that are the largest contributing factors for players moving on and try to find other games because just those issues aren't getting addressed. So I apologize if this kind of came out as a rant video. I really just wanted to make a video talking about these updates, so to speak, that are just, they're basically nothing. And yeah, just maybe vent a little bit about my frustrations with the game. The other day I was playing and I was just probably maybe in a bad mood or something, but everything was just annoying me, and I was actually making a list of everything that should be changed and fixed in Delta Force. Might make that into a video eventually, but it'll probably be a long one because yeah, I've been just noticing a lot more problems with the game now that I have gotten more hours into it. I will leave the patch notes in the description down below if you want to go and read them. They're basically just weapon balance changes for both modes. But yeah, let me know what you've been feeling on Delta Force. Have you stopped playing? Have you uninstalled the game? Are you just waiting for more content, quality of life fixes, you know, general improvements to the game? I know performance is also quite bad recently. It's just been going down and down since the launch of the season. Yeah, let me know all that in the comment section down below. It's just disappointing to see where this game is headed right now, honestly. But yeah, in any case, hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.